Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Today Show Detroit. I am Zach Dame, here joined with the amazing one and only, the Wayne State graduate, the Motor City's own Gina Adams. Gina, thank you so much for joining us on the Today Show Detroit. How are you?
Good afternoon. It's great to be here. Thank you, Zach.
Wonderful. And there's so much to cover because you are such an accomplished woman. You've done so many great things, and Wearology is doing so many great things, your company. So, do you mind if I jump right in?
Please do. There's a lot to cover in a short period of time.
Absolutely. So, first of all, you have more than 20 years of experience in the apparel industry and sort of the civil social sector. And you've worked with global brands such as the North Face, J. Crew, and others. But how did the idea for Wearology and your products originally come about?
Well, uh, when I was working for the North Face, I was living in Colorado at the time, and I volunteered teaching people with disabilities how to ski. And it was then I realized that clothing made for able bodied individuals does not work for people with different physical challenges. And it was always really a concern. We used a lot of duct tape trying to keep mittens on and people warm in the elements of the beautiful Rocky Mountains. So it's been a long time coming for sure.
Absolutely. And, one of the things too that I think is so neat about your company is, you have a slogan, and I think this slogan speaks volumes. You are Wearology, a new name in rehabilitation equipment. But I'm curious for you individually, I mean, what led you to adaptive fashion and dressing and rehabilitation equipment, early on? I mean, was this something that you always wanted to do?
Well, as you mentioned, I went on actually and pursued a more fashion apparel space living in New York. And then when my stepfather contracted Parkinson's, that really inspired me to go back and look at how people with physical challenges, simple things like pinching a clasp to jewelry or unscrewing a lid become impossible. And it's these things that we take for granted, right? And so, chances are if people are out there looking or watching and listening, you've struggled either maybe you yourself are recovering from a surgery or are faced with a physical challenge. And so for me, it was kind of looking at apparel and what we could do to help alleviate some of that frustration and make something as, vital as getting dressed effortless. So that's where Buttons to Buttons kind of originated.
Absolutely. And of course, you bring up a great point and, just making those particular needs effortless. But I want to also go back to your background because it is impressive. I mean, you received your Bachelor's of Science degree in Human Environment and Design from Michigan State University in 1992, and then received a Master's of Business Administration with a focus on management and entrepreneurship from Wayne State University in 2018. Now, you're also the executive director of Peace, Love, and Planet Incorporated, which was founded in 2008 with the vision to increase environmental awareness in Michigan. And their mission is to nurture the appreciation for nature and its precious resources, resulting in a meaningful behavior change to achieve a healthy, sustainable planet for future generations. And of course, they work with businesses and schools throughout the state to develop custom recycling and waste reduction programs to reduce overhead costs and reduce resource and consumption to promote eco-friendly cultures, specifically designed strategic programs which encompass both operational and procedures and educational initiatives for staff and students to ensure long-term successful sustainable programs. So even with all of that going on, you still are able to run your own business and company in Wearology. So can you talk about what motivated you to accomplish so much and press forward?
Well, as we roll through life, things present themselves. There's opportunities, and we pivot, right? And so, Peace, Love, and Planet is an amazing organization. They're very cutting edge and really looking at how we can incorporate incorporate simple solutions into our everyday life that bring really profound positive change, whether it is consuming less and using reusable products, reduce, reuse, recycle. It is in that hierarchy, because really it is about just consuming less so that we leave the planet in a better place for all. And so Wearology, when I went back to acquire my MBA to be more effective as an executive director. And that's when I witnessed, the impact of my dad. And as I mentioned, the disability, the physical impact is just one small component. It's really that ripple effect and how it impacts people emotionally when you end up having to rely on others to care for you. And then, of course, my mother, who she went from being, a wife and a friend and a lover to that of a caregiver, is such a dramatically different role and responsibility, and the strain that it took on their relationship, that for me that seemed in a more hard to believe this, but in a more immediate, urgent need there that we could address, whereas climate change, as we all feel, is a bit daunting. And I do feel like in the 12 years that Peace, Love, and Planet has been very impactful here in the Metro Detroit area, where we're based in Farmington Hills, Michigan, working with schools. And we've impacted over 16,000 people over the years, and children working within that district, as well as, throughout the state. So Wearology, through that MBA program, it was so fabulous to be able to partner with schoolmates and collaborate to conduct over 300 customer discovery interviews with clinicians and people with various physical challenges, whether it's something degenerative like Parkinson's or ALS or MS, or perhaps a little bit more emergent, something, somebody suffering from a stroke, or perhaps a catastrophic accident. We developed buttons to buttons magnetic adapters. Is just kind of a simple solution that people could then continue to wear their own unique button-up shirts in style, and not be pigeonholed to wearing adaptive brands that may not necessarily express their unique individual style. And so it's been a fun juggle. I love both. We are, of course, committed to sustainable practices at Wearology, and we are, committed to even having our latest production 100% recyclable. So we're looking at a cradle to grave design program, so that we're not just developing things that are generating and contributing to more waste in the environment, but actually items that can then be converted back into new and other magical consumer goods. So
I mean, just amazing with everything that you're able to do, and really hit two core needs in what you're doing, and not just in Michigan, but I think globally in terms of sustainability, but then also the rehabilitation side. Folks, we're going to take a quick break here on the Today Show Detroit, and we'll be right back with Gina Adams of Wearology.